Hi there. So today I'm going to talk about CAT verbal and specifically what score is required for what percentile, because this is the major problem with verbal ability as far as CAT verbal is concerned, because I would say for any exam for that matter, right, when it comes to verbal, right, there is no mathematics as far as the options are correct or if the answer is correct the way you have for your quants and your LRDI section. At least in quants and LRDI section, when you work out with your maths, right, you at least get to know that okay, this is the number which is my answer. Like, then you can cross verify with the option which is there in the paper. But as far as CAT verbal is concerned, or for that matter any exams verbal is concerned, we really don't have that kind of ability, to kind of cross check if the answer is correct or not. However, there is an exception to this. Like if you're my student and from Pune classroom, or if you've seen my videos when I've mentioned all the RC rules and the strategy, in certain questions you'll be 100% sure about your answer, and in certain questions you'll be 90 to 95% sure about your answers. Anyway, now the point today is that I'm making this video for those people who are still struggling for scoring in verbal ability and reading comprehension, because I've been getting a lot of messages these days. People are saying that, students are saying that, sir, मेरे क्लास में बोला है कि 34 questions करके आना verbal में. Somebody has told me that कि sir, मेरे professor ने बोला है कि 30 questions करना है आपको and all that stuff. So rather looking at this kind of number, let's understand as to how to go ahead with your verbal, what should be your attempt, and what marks you will face, and what will be your percentile eventually on those marks. Now, before you go ahead and listen to me, I want you guys to have a look at this data. Now, though you feel this is a data, right? But what you need to understand is what you can derive from this data. Now, it's a beautiful data, by the way, but the problem is that you might not be able to analyze this. Now, if you look at attempts, right? Now, verbal is the only segment in CAT which has maximum attempts for all the levels. So you talk about 80 percentile or you talk about 99 percentile. Unlike quants and LRDI, verbal has maximum attempts on every level of percentile. Now, what does that mean? That means is that verbal has always been easy. I have been telling this in my videos apparently that do not get scared of verbal, okay? It's easy. It is that you need practice. Now, again, what kind of practice you do, that depends completely on, how you've been studying. But anyway, the only thing that you should take from this data right now is that, yes, verbal is easy. And for the fact it's easy, the attempts are always higher as far as verbal is concerned in your CAT. Now, to start from a very scratch level, I'm going to talk about 80 percentile. Now, if you look at for 80 percentile, you need round about 15. But here I would change a bit. It should be 13 to 15. Okay, so your score, or rather the attempt or the number of questions that you should be attempting is round about 13 to 15. Now, understand this. This is being conservative. Okay. Now, if you're somebody who is really scared of verbal or who've not been able to get the success in verbal, guys, it's always better to be conservative instead being dynamic. Because if I am attempting verbal, which is my first section in CAT 2018, definitely if it's a first session, I'm going to be a little bit nervous, but again, I've got a good energy, I've got a good enthusiasm, and because of which, what I'm saying is that when you start with your verbal section, okay, be conservative, focus on only those 13 to 15 questions, or 13, 14, 15, whatever questions, but yeah, bare minimum 13 questions you would need to fetch 80 percentile. So look out for those 13 questions wherein you can fetch 80 percentile. Now, that's how you should move ahead. So 80 percentile is something that you should be aiming at, being very conservative, right? Because if you're not sure about any question's answer, do not mark it, because that's going to get you in the negative zone. Now, if you look at 85 percentile, which is like plus 5 percentile, now here you have plus 2 questions. So you do 2 more questions, your score will be around about 49, 50, should be around about 50, 51 score, because these are the rounded numbers, right? These are the rounded numbers. So 17 is the number for your 85 percentile. Now, what you need to understand is, right, so let's move ahead a bit. 19 questions, okay? Now, this is 19, but I would say that this should range 18 to 19, you can kind of consider. So even if you have 18 questions, if you mark 18 questions, as far as the scaled one is concerned, with the rounding impact, you should be able to get dot 90 percentile as far as VA is concerned. Now, look at this 90 percentile. 90 percentile you're getting on 19 questions. Now, as I said, right, that 19 questions on 90 percentile is anytime much more than the quants and the LRDI. But as I said again, right, it's going to be easy. The only thing that you need to understand is that how you're going to get this 19 question. Now you have 34 questions. Okay, out of 34 questions, you can see my other video where I've said that, how to get 90 percentile. So out of 34, you need to understand, you have reading comprehension, which is 24, you have verbal ability, which is 10. What kind of combination you would love to have wherein you can get to this bare minimum 18 to 19 questions, right? Now you have 34 questions, guys. Now, if you look at 34 questions, right? 19 would be nothing but around about 60% of your verbal ability. So even if you are cracking 60% of verbal ability, which will fetch you a score around about 56 or 57, you should be fairly done with 90 percentile. Now here onwards, right? Here onwards, life gets a little tough because as and when you move ahead in verbal ability, your attempts will grow up to have a maximum percentile. But trust me, if you look at me, if you look at this kind of thing, right, I would say that, don't even worry about these things, okay? Just forget this entire chunk. Don't worry about this chunk because this is going to be little bit problematic. Now, if you're somebody who is struggling at this level, guys, you should not be looking at this thing. But if you're somebody who is quite comfortable at this level as of now, wherein you have 30 days left for your CAT, I think this is something you would be targeting eventually. Okay, now what you need to understand is why this data is important to all of you is that you need to understand how many attempts you are making, what is going to be a score, and what percentile you'll be getting. You cannot blindly keep on marking and marking in verbal. That is what 95% of people would do in verbal ability. You guys will only keep on marking and marking because the problem with student is that when we talk about English, पहली बात तो समझता नहीं है कि मेरा ये ऑप्शन सही है कि गलत है. So what you guys do is you keep on marking, right? Quants में क्या होता है, LRDI में क्या होता है, you get stuck, there is a speed breaker because आपने जो मैथ्स वर्कआउट किया उसका जो आंसर आया वो ऑप्शन में है ही नहीं. Then you get scared कि यार मैंने जो करा है वो तो ऑप्शन में है ही नहीं, तो मैं मार्क क्या करूंगा, right? Verbal में this is not going to happen because there is no maths to work out. People keep on marking. I have seen people marking 30 questions. I have seen people marking 34 questions and landing up into 50 percentile or 40 percentile. So guys, you need to understand. That's what I said. If you are somebody who's not really good with verbal ability, guys, you got to be conservative. And if you are somebody who's good with verbal ability, it doesn't mean that you're going to be so aggressive. No, it's just that you have to work out your maths, go step by step. Right? You can watch my other videos where I've made a mention about how do you go ahead with 90 percentile and plus, how to treat your verbal ability TITA questions. But again, like I'll make a point out here. Out of 10, right? If you mark 7 questions, those TITA questions in verbal ability, you are fetching 40 percentile. Spot on. Now, why is this happening? Guys, understand this. Whenever you mark TITA question, okay? TITA questions are those questions which are without the option. Your percentile is get to boost. Why? Because now, if you have seen my video which I uploaded like yesterday, wherein I talked about raw score and a scaled score, always remember there is a relative comparison, right? There is an equality. So what happens is when there is a score that gets stimulated, right? What CAT people would do is that they'll check. Okay, somebody has marked questions correctly even after not having the options to that question. Okay, that's a great job. That's a good job. And whenever you mark TITA questions correctly, for the fact it's a tough question, for the fact there are no options available, your score tend to go up. And that's the reason I say, if you really want to score very well in your verbal ability, guys, your first killer should be TITA, which is para jumble, para completion, odd one out. I will be making some videos eventually wherein I'll be talking about all these things. Stick around, watch those videos, they'll help you for sure. But guys, trust me, this segment you should be not looking at if you are struggling at this level or this level. Now for you, it should be only this much that you should be looking at. So for this level, if I talk about for this level, right, it's only 55 to 60% of your verbal ability section, which you need to mark very well, right? Now, as far as your accuracy is concerned, I would say try to maintain 80 to 85% accuracy. If your accuracy if it goes down, then you will have to increase your attempts, which is really not healthy, as far as verbal ability is concerned. So my advice to you would be go slow, okay, and be conservative as far as your verbal ability is concerned. Trust me, I'm not kidding. Your verbal ability is going to be easy, and you will tell me that yes, my verbal was easy. The only thing that you need to do in verbal, be patient, mark step by step. Okay, don't rush into the things. And guys, you still have 30 days. Trust me, verbal is going to be easy. If you have any questions, any problems in verbal, please do comment in this video. Tell me what kind of videos you want, so I'll make them. And let's hope that you guys do very well in next 30 days to CAT. Yeah, thank you so much guys for your time. I wish this video helps you. Yeah, do work hard on verbal. Thank you so much.